Actually, she and yeah, I have to sign this. Oh, that's another funny thing. Good evening, folks. Thank you for joining us here, and they'll be speaking at various times. Charlene Perkins Cutler is joining us, and I want to welcome her. This is her first meeting as a member of the board. Chan Paquette is to my right. Amy Monahan is our minute taker. Crystal Adams is our HR director, and she's our Zoom hostess. Mike Doherty, chair of the Board of Finance, is joining us, and Karen Fitzpatrick, who's the finance director. So without further ado, we'll call the meeting to order. And again, as I just said, I'd like to welcome Charlene in joining us. Folks, I'd like to ask you if you'd approve the minutes from our November 4th regular selectmen's meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the November 4th, 2021 Board of Selectmen's meeting as presented.
Agreed? Okay, unanimous. Thank you. Let's see, Karen, I would like to ask you if you could give an update on the American Rescue Plan update, please.
Sure.
Let me turn there you go.
So tonight I'm just going to basically give a quick overview of some of the new suggestions that came in under the community input, and then talk a little bit about the revenue loss. So first I'd like to start with, since our last meeting on October 21st, I believe, we've had several more community suggestions, and I will read those new ones. Or would you prefer I start and read all of them?
I think the new ones,
Just the
just to
new ones?
update what's
Okay.
come in recently,
Okay.
please.
So the newest suggestions would be to provide Woodstock YMCA with camp scholarships, upgrades to the tennis courts at the middle school, solar panel canopies for parking lots, lower the mill rate, install sidewalks that connect all the schools and playing fields with extensions to Extremont and Sweet Evelina's farm stand, and to allocate funds to help eligible businesses. Another upgrade that we would like to present on I think maybe public safety or maybe public welfare, but is to update the broadband infrastructure. The state of Connecticut is with a group called Nutmeg, and this is more of a fiber optics type of communications that we would like to update. The current system we have is very outdated. This is also the type of system for communications with telephones and stuff that our schools have, police departments have, a lot of other municipalities have. So we're in the process of getting quotes for that infrastructure upgrade. And I would just like to kind of give a brief overview, so to keep people kind of informed on how the revenue loss works here. So basically, we had our auditors do a revenue loss calculation, and currently we have $1,759,053.83 in revenue loss. It does not mean the town can recoup that funding. It just means that it still stays restricted, but it means we can use it in a looser, broader form for other, government services and infrastructure. We also have 3 other times when we can do another revenue loss calculation. So we have another one coming up in December, at the end of December 31st of 2021, and that will be focused on revenue that was received in fiscal year ending June of 2020. So those calculations, again, you can find that information in the interim final rule. It gives the towns the opportunity to recover at a 4.1 rate of return. Again, it's something that the selectmen will take into consideration when they're preparing to put together their plan and use that money for priorities. I think that what we might probably do is, after the second measurement of revenue loss, we will probably most likely sit down and discuss how we can use some of those funds within the next year, I think, for the next fiscal year.
But the second one is not the one at the end of December?
So in the end of December of 2021,
Yep.
our auditors will do another revenue calculation based on all of the revenue that we received in fiscal year 20. It's always a year behind.
Right.
So basically, all revenue, including state grants, between the town and the school, including all the collections that we receive, is used to calculate that revenue. The only revenue that is not included is revenue that we've received from the federal government.
Okay, and when that one that they're going to do in December would be the second one because they've
Will be the
already done
second
one.
Correct.
When will we get the final report from them?
So if our auditors start, once I provide them in December with all the information that they need, because I have to provide them, and the school has to provide them with all the revenue that they receive for state grants.
Right.
Once we provide all that information to the auditor, he'll be able to start performing the calculation. Hopefully we'll know sometime by mid-January or the end of January.
Okay.
Okay, and then I think that's something that we can talk about as we approach our fiscal year 23 budget.
Okay. And again, that's something that we as a board may want to consider since we've gotten two. So maybe at the end of January, we might want to start looking at priorities for ARPA.
Yep.
Because we'll have two to go through by then.
Good.
Yeah,
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
you're welcome.
Let's see. Okay, for the board. I'd like you to just quickly review and approve the calendar for our meetings next year, 2022. I'll just mention that for the foreseeable future, the first Thursday will be at 4 p.m. and the third Thursday will be at 7 p.m. The other thing I'm going to mention is apparently last year's calendar, inadvertently, we had some meetings on some Jewish holidays. So this year, and it was pointed out to me, so this year I checked the Jewish holidays and I checked with some friends of mine of the Jewish faith. And what you have in front of you, we're good to go, but I need your approval. And then this will become what our meetings are going to be in the next year.
Want a motion?
Oh, yes, please.
I'll make a motion to accept the 2022 calendar year for the Board of Selected meeting schedule as presented.
Yes.
May I mention something? I was looking at the calendar from last year
Mhm.
and I realized that we are really heavy on Thursday meetings in town. The Board of Selectmen, yes, but also Board of Ed, Planning and Zoning. I think the open space and there someplace too. And I wondered if we'd ever considered going back to the decades old time we used to meet on Tuesdays, the first and third Tuesdays. And that way we had a meeting before Board of Finance and met on the second week. But it would lighten up the load on Thursdays because there may be some of us wanting to go to
Both
multiple
meetings.
meetings.
Okay.
I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I'm sure there's other people out there who may be interested in a hearing at P&Z or something that's going on at Board of Ed. Those are three big committees meeting on Thursday.
One of the issues is that I believe Board of Finance has already approved your schedule for next year, right?
Yeah.
But they
Okay.
meet on the second,
Well, we have three Tuesday meetings in, I'm sorry,
March.
in March, we have 3 Tuesday meetings. Then in April, the first and second Tuesday is the public hearing and then the final budget. And then we have referendum and the town meeting on Tuesdays.
Which are all Tuesdays.
What about if you had maybe even just like one of them on a different day, like a Wednesday or, I don't
Well,
know
yeah,
who
I
meets
mean-
when, but I'm not
Well, all the
100%.
town committees meet on Wednesdays. I think it's first and third between the two of them.
Okay.
But I just wondered if there was a way maybe we could just reposition it so that.
And again, personal opinion, and I'm just throwing this out. My issue is this: if people, not members of committees, but if the general public, sometimes you got to make a choice. And it's sort of like, you got 2 meetings tonight, which do you want to attend? You know, and that's to the general public. The people that serve on the various boards and commissions, their schedule is kind of set. So I'm not seeing it so much as a conflict as, you know, we all have choices and, you know, which one do you want to go to? And I'm not saying that, you know, if I was Joe Schmo from North Woodstock and I had a choice on a Thursday between planning and zoning and Board of Selectmen, Well, Board of Selectmen is usually earlier, planning and zoning is later. But if there was an actual conflict, I would make a choice. Which one's more important to me?
Tuesdays are tough. I see where you're going and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But Tuesdays are tough because all town meetings,
Yeah.
all voting is all done on Tuesdays.
I have another. On your first Monday, I'm sorry, on your first Thursday at your 4 o'clock meeting?
Yep.
Does P and Z have a meeting on the first Thursday too?
But it's at 7:30.
Yeah, because there's not a time conflict there. You know,
Yeah.
where, is it the first and third Thursdays for Board of Ed? I don't know about Board of Ed, I can check.
I know that,
I think
But the-
it's first.
wait a minute, when they have a meeting, they always usually have a meeting on the second Thursday because it follows the Board of Finance. Because I always send their agendas to the Board of Finance.
So are they only meeting once a month? Yes, that's it, okay.
Just so you know, we don't have to have these submitted to Judy for her to submit to the state till December.
yeah.
So maybe you could table this, do a little more research, just as a suggestion,
wanna
and then
throw
come
monkey
back.
Okay.
I don't want to throw a monkey wrench into the work, but I just thought I'd ask the question.
The only thing I would recommend, if it does get changed, is that it stays, I don't want the first Tuesday and the third Thursday.
Oh,
Yeah.
Both meetings should be the
Yeah,
same
they
day.
do.
Yeah,
yeah.
If
Yeah.
people don't like change, it's gonna be hard enough to change from the schedule to start with. But the planning and zoning, the first meeting of the month is basically their meeting. It's for them to do their business, for them to discuss their rules. It's really not a public participation situation. So it's, the third one is the only one that I could see being more of a conflict.
would
You-
you like me to reach out to Janice just to ask her when their Board of Ed meetings are, and I can,
I'm pretty sure that they got them up already, and I think it's December 13th, and I think it's January 16th, if I remember correctly.
No,
well, theirs is the
16th is a
14th, so I
Sunday.
think the Board of Finance is December 14th, so theirs is probably the 16th. I'm pretty sure it's at least one of the meetings that I am aware of, and I thought there was only one unless they have a special meeting.
I see December 9th, Board of Ed, and January 13th. The 13th, that's when I'm.
Okay.
So
January
they
13th.
might have an extra one in there too for their budget. There's an academic committee meeting December 6th.
Well, let me ask the board, do you want to table this for now?
It's fine with me as long as we're not under a deadline.
Well, no, we just have to have it by the end of
I think
mid-December.
usually mid-December. I
So
always,
You
yeah.
got another month.
Judy hasn't even sent out her note, as far as I know, she hasn't even sent out her notice asking all the boards and commissions to submit them, but
Has to be to the Secretary of State by the first of January.
yeah, so we usually
Okay.
send them to her in December.
All right, why don't we table this for now? We'll do some more work, figure out if we can townwide what all the various boards and commissions are, and then figure out what the priorities are. And again, for the general, for the members of the boards and commission, it should be at their ability to attend. But for the general public, sometimes you got to make a choice. Do I go to the Elks Club tonight or do I go to the Foresters type thing? If they meet on the same night.
Yeah.
So,
Those meet at 7:30. They don't even really get rolling until 8:15.
I know. Well, no, because they used to go to our meetings
Right.
and then I would turn around and go to their meetings. It was kind of a moral support type thing. So, but no, let me ask you.
Sometimes, there's business that has to take place between the different boards, like Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance,
Sure.
that kind of stuff. And if at any point we needed to interact with those other groups that are meeting about the same time.
Can I just point out one
Sure.
more thing? So during budget season, the other thing that we have to take into consideration is we have a lot of budget meetings
Oh, yeah.
because of reviewing the, budget requests. And a lot of times we do those on Wednesday after 3 when Chan's available to meet. So Wednesday.
And the building's still open.
And sometimes we're here for 3 hours. So we
Yeah.
don't, so that's another issue to take into consideration during budget season. So
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it all out there so you have the ability to,
And Mondays and Fridays,
No, good.
the attendance would go.
Oh, no. Not good.
so.
Well, again, you want to table it and look and
I'm
continue?
fine the way it is. It seems to be working out, like you were saying, Crystal, that a lot of times if there's something that you need to take part in a board of, in a planning and zoning meeting, it's not until 8:15 at least.
That's true.
So that's an hour and 15 minutes after our meeting starts, and typically we're done by then.
The other thing too, though, is we have been known to have special meetings. You know, if things come up, usually it's after 3 on a Wednesday. We can have a special meeting, just, you know, if we announce it ahead of time. If there's something we have to deal with, we don't have to wait till these meetings.
Well, I just thought I'd bring it up. because
Okay, no,
I'm
no.
looking at my calendar, I'm thinking, boy, that Thursday's pretty heavy if I wanted to hit those
If you wanted to
meetings.
hit them all.
Yeah,
Okay. What other meetings besides P and Z?
well, open space. and
Okay,
Of course, Board of Ed.
okay.
you
Well,
know,
open space is the second
Second, right.
Thursday.
Well, I just looked at all the Thursdays in the calendar and.
Now we gotta look at the dates.
I typically just
Well-
figure Thursday is my community service day.
Make your rounds.
Yep.
All right, all right, then why don't we do this? Do you want to accept this for now? And if there's a conflict, we can change it? What do you want to do?
That's fine with me.
What?
Once you submit it to the
We're
state,
stuck with, I mean.
you're
we-
stuck with
okay.
it. All you will be able to do is cancel it, and then you
All right.
have to do a special.
Why don't we
meeting.
do this? Let's table it.
Sorry.
Let's do some homework and then figure out where we're gonna go from there. Okay, but we've got to make a decision mid-December.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so tabled, Amy, please. All right, speaking of tabled. All right, you don't have this on your agenda, but I have it on mine. So what I'm gonna do, number 5, these are tax rebates that we tabled from our November 4th meeting. And we found out they were correct. There was a question as to whether or not they were correct. So it's a rebate of $95.88 to Laura Fife, and she moved in March of 2020. There was a rebate of $58.58 to Alley Financial. The vehicle was sold in August of 2021. And number 3 was a rebate of $521.12 to Mark Leonard because he paid the wrong taxes. So I would like to ask you to approve these rebates for these 3 individuals. And again, this was tabled from our last meeting. So do I have a motion?
I'd be glad to make the motion, but can I do that since it's the table from a previous meeting?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
because it's new.
Then I make. the
Okay,
motion too.
and second? Okay, we're all in favor, unanimous. Now, I have 16 additional.
Oh, my,
These are new ones.
poor Diane.
Anyway, Anel Syriac in the amount of $80.69 for a vehicle sold in October of 2020. Am I getting this now? Heidi Devine in the amount of $701.80. The taxes had already been paid by the bank. Toyota Lease Trust, $439.49 for a leased vehicle that was sold in December of 2020. $540.35 for a leased vehicle sold in September of 2020. $305.93 for a leased vehicle that was sold in April of 2021. And $50.59 for a leased vehicle sold in July of 2021. Also, $377.43 for a leased vehicle sold in January of 2021. $158 for a leased vehicle sold in January of 2021. $337.77 for a leased vehicle sold in February of 2021. $531.27 for a leased vehicle sold in October of 2021. $321.61 for a vehicle sold in November of 2020. $501.59 for a vehicle sold in September of 2020, and $415.71 for a vehicle sold November of 2020. Those were all for Toyota Lease Corporation. Next, we have Matthew and Megan Derringer in the amount of $275.63. They moved. VCFS Auto Leasing Company in the amount of $199.89. That vehicle was sold in May of 2021. Hyundai Lease Tilting Trust in the amount of $25.63. That vehicle was sold in August of 2021. That is it.
There goes my vacation.
It is. So, could I hear a motion to approve these tax rebates, please?
So moved.
Second? Okay, unanimous. Now it gets worse. I mean, it doesn't get worse. We have to consider appointments to various boards and commissions for the term of November 16th, 2021 through November 21st, 2023. Agent for the Elderly, Sue Con, I'm going to go through them all. And I think we should do them as a group at the end, if that's okay. All right. Agent for the Elderly, Sue Connor. The Arboretum Committee, Philippa Paquette, Sarah Zizek, and Jessica White. The Beautification Committee, Crystal Adams, Kiana Carpenter, Diane Converse, Glenn Converse, Karen Fitzpatrick, and Pat Papini. Charter Communications, Nancy Gale. Constables, Seth Spalding, James Belrose, Sergeant Roy Bradrick, Dennis Hebert, Chief Stuart Morse, Deputy Chief Jay Swan, and Janet Spirica. Flood and Erosion Control, Jay Swan, Charlene Cutler, Chandler Paquette, Lee Wessler. Open Space Land Acquisition, Don Adaletta, Crystal Adams, Slid Blodgett, George French, Roger Gale, Amy Monahan, Stuart Morse, Chan Paquette, and Charlene Cutler, member at large. The Quasit School Advisory, Myra Pratt. There's a Board of Ed representative that will be announced in December or recommended to us. Charlene Cutler, Mike Bernardi, and Irene Wheeler. Also, Greg Klein, member at large. Recreation Commission, Erin Lucas, Sarah Bentley, Marie Chamberlain, Amy Monahan. Tree Warden, Bill Rathbone. Veterans Advisory Committee, Glenn Boyce, Everett Shepard, Russ Dowd, and Todd Smith. Do I hear a motion to reappoint or appoint these individuals to the various boards and commissions?
So moved.
So move. Second, third. Okay, unanimous.
Bill, do something with charter communications?
No, but we have a member.
We do have a channel.
Honest to God.
Actually, Woodstock.
No, I'm-
Channel, no. So this came up recently at a public meeting that we had when we first had our ARPA public forum. And the question came up about communication and cable. And I went on, and on Charter, I believe it's channel 192 is public access. And do you each have cable?
No.
No.
Okay. Well, I have cable and I went there and it wasn't very exciting. No, serious, it was pretty bad. There was somebody doing yoga for seniors, like for a half hour in the morning. Nobody was on when I was on that channel, but apparently there are some limited programs provided. But yeah, we still have somebody appointed, Nancy Gale.
Well, Nancy used to do all of those films.
The Lifestyles of Woodstock. I remember that. Yeah. So. Welcome to Woodstock. What? Okay. Correspondence and announcements. We've advertised this like crazy. Anyway, the towns of Woodstock and Pomfret are going to host their annual hazardous waste collection day. It's next Saturday, November 20th, from 9 to 1 at Pomfret Community School. I received a letter from Northeast District Department of Health. The programs that they provide to us, basically, their rate increase is $5.75. It's going up to $7 per capita. And again, this is like anything else because of the additional services and the price and the cost of things. They basically are raising our rate based on our population. So that will be coming up. Community kitchen. These are the folks that do the local community kitchen luncheons around Eastern Connecticut. This is a thank you note to us. Just says Town of Woodstock, thank you for your generous support of our community kitchens. With your contribution, we can continue to serve the community and provide meals to anyone who needs them. We're proud that you support our mission. We're proud of our volunteers and the services we can provide because of our support. Thank you for making a difference, sincerely. These are the folks that they do it in Woodstock, they do it at the Hill Community Congregational Church. It's the same organization. They do it in various towns around the area, Putnam, Killingly, Thompson. I believe Monday through Friday, there's a luncheon in various towns that you could go to. Teague, mobile market dates. Teague was here today, as a matter of fact. But they're going to be also here Tuesday, December 7th from 10:30 to 11:30 and Thursday, December 16th from 1 to 2. They have frozen meats, dairy, eggs, fresh produce to individuals and families. And they also have staple foods, including cereal, peanut butter, soup, pasta, sauce, rice, and canned proteins. The nice thing about that is, since they've been doing it at both Pomfret and Woodstock, they've gone through some intake work with the families and individuals that visit them, so they can get a feel for who these people are in Woodstock and what their needs might be. So they are, as I refer to them, as our social service agency. So if we have issues that come up and are referred to us, many times we will refer them to Teague. COVID update, we're orange, according to the latest map this morning. Basically, that means it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 people per 100,000. So based on the math and our population, I'm thinking we may have one that's currently positive, but that's the way it is. Troop D report. This is November 4th. Basically, during October, Troop D troopers responded to 124 calls for service in Woodstock, and they included 12 accidents, 8 investigations, 2 burglaries, 1 larceny, and 101 non-reportable matters. We had 0 DUIs, 1 traffic citation, and 1 written warning. I think I mentioned at the last meeting or the last time I had a report from them, because of the issues that we've had with individuals driving by school buses that are stopped with their lights on, and the safety group has provided cameras, dash cams to the buses. They've been turning those videos into Troop D, and individuals have been issued citations, which are very expensive. So hopefully that's cut down on the number of people trying to pass buses. Also, I've been in touch with Troop D, and I've asked that when folks are, I know that they have to make phone calls, I know they have to do paperwork, but I've also asked them when they do that to park in areas that we have problems with in town. So they've been doing that. And again, just the presence of a cruiser tends to slow people down. So, oh, the other thing, just in about an hour ago, this hasn't been publicly announced, but I'm announcing it to you folks. Because of the last census, there have been a number of seats, and basically Fairfield has gained a seat. Eastern Connecticut has lost a seat. What this means for us in Woodstock is the 52nd district, which is Kurt Vale, and he has Stafford and Summers. He's also picking up Union and part of Woodstock. This previously was the 50th district with Pat Boyd. Woodstock, basically, and there'll be a map coming out, Route 197 is going to be the line. So for instance, where I live in North Woodstock, I'm now going to be with the 52nd district. People south of Route 197 are going to be with the 50th district. Representative Vale has gone from 2 towns to 4, and Representative Boyd has gone from 5 towns to 7. This would be effective at the time of the 2022 election. It will take place in January of 2023 when the new legislature is seated. It's going to affect elections in the sense that for Woodstock, when you go to the polls, depending upon your address, you will be given a certain ballot based on what your address is. So this was pretty much unexpected by the state reps. I was informed of this an hour ago. So we'll see how this plays out.
Why split a town? What benefit there?
It's based on federal census. And again, the splitting the town, I have no idea, but it does happen.
They do it on the basis of population.
Yes,
So in other words, a 198 and West split wouldn't have given the number of people needed to balance the district. So they went that way instead. Which, 198 split would have made more sense to go toward Union, that somewhere
It just,
geographically at least.
I understand
even then-
why, but it doesn't make sense.
well, no, we,
Our neighbors could have different state reps.
exactly.
I know. It's insane.
More is going to come out when this is announced, I think, on the general news. The map that I was sent actually was on stationery for the Connecticut State Legislature. So it's official and more is going to come out, but this just was announced about an hour ago. So
I have a question. So does that mean for the town hall? When we're used to talking to our state rep about services and things that the town needs, which district will we be in?
I think for the town, our town hall is here,
Yeah.
but it represents the whole town. We'll be dealing with both representatives. We're going to have to,
Okay.
because they're going to represent half the town, but that's what we're going to have to do. And that's what they're going to have to do. What other towns are affected? I don't know.
They didn't give numbers.
Of people?
Yeah.
No. No, I'm sure that's how it was decided,
I'm sure it must.
but
be,
I don't, yeah. And I don't know Kurt Vale, honest to goodness, I don't know him at all. I do know Pat Boyd, and I believe they were totally surprised. They had no idea. They didn't expect it. So anyway. All right, those of us joining from the comfort of their own homes. It's time for public comment. If anybody has comments, and by the way, I'll just tell you what I just announced. What I told you is all the information I have. So I can't answer any questions. I can't go any further to what I just told you. But that said, Diane and Dawn and iPhone, if there's any questions that we can help you with or answer. Mike Doherty is a member of the public. Do you have any questions? No? Okay. No. Anybody at home? No? Okay, I realize the Patriots are kicking off in about a half hour, but we don't have to, we don't have to. We have a phone, we have a TV right here. We have cable, but okay, if there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you. And again, Charlene, welcome to you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Looking
And
forward to working with you.
it'll be good. Good night. Thank you.